Question of English. According to Guha, Gandhi contended, with all the love and vigor at his command, that, if children were to learn a universal language like English from their infancy, they would easily gain considerable advantage over others in the race of life. In 1905 and 1906, Mohandas Gandhi, his wife, and their children shared a home in Johannesburg with an English couple, Henry and Millie Pollack. Later, writing of their life together, Gandhi recalled that Pollack and I had often very heated discussions about the desirability or otherwise of giving the children an English education. It has always been my conviction that Indian parents who train their children to think and talk in English from their infancy betray their children and their country. Gandhi adds that while he insisted on his children speaking at home in Gujarati, and learning through that language, they naturally became bilingual, speaking and writing English with fair ease. Because of daily contact with a large circle of English friends, and because of their stay in a country where English was the chief language spoken. The private debate between Gandhi and Pollack has had very many public echoes down the decades. After independence, the battle between these positions was truly joined, when the brilliant, maverick socialist Ram Manohar Lohia launched and led an Angrezi Hatao Andolan, a movement to banish English from the face of India. Lohia was answered in turn by Tamil politicians and intellectuals, who feared that in the absence of English, Hindi speakers would exercise a sort of colonialist dominance over the southern, western, and eastern parts of India. Thus Hindi signs were defaced across Tamil Nadu by followers of E. V. Ramaswamy Periyar, a leader as brilliant and as maverick as Lohia. The debate continues. In Karnataka, for example, many prominent intellectuals, among them the novelist U.R. Ananthamurthy, argue that a child must speak and learn exclusively in her mother tongue until she enters high school, lest she become totally disconnected from her social and spiritual roots. On the other side, Dalit activists suggest that the promotion of Kannada is an upper-class ploy to keep them away from the fruits of modern learning. A century after Gandhi and Pollack debated the question in Johannesburg, arguments about the relevance of English to India and Indians continues. The debate has moved on, of course, since society and history have moved on too. One might foreground three significant changes since Gandhi's time. First, there are now far more inter-community marriages, particularly among the middle and upper classes. And if a Gujarati marries a Tamil, or a Bengali weds a Malayali, then the default language of their children, and of the family as a whole, tends to become English. Second, although Britannia no longer rules the waves, English continues to be the major global language, its preeminence a consequence of America having replaced Great Britain as the great imperial power of the age. The third change is, in the Indian context, arguably the most significant. This that there is now a real hunger for English among the poor. The desire to learn English thus runs deep among all castes and communities. Poor Muslims are as keen to learn the language as a poor Dalits or Adivasis. Whether one approves of it or not, this rush to learn English is unstoppable. Ram Manohar Lohia and his followers have lost the battle to banish English from the imagination or learning experience of the Indian child. As for Gandhi's children, despite their father's insistence that they speak and learn only in Gujarati, they willy-nilly picked up the lingua franca of South Africa, which also fortuitously was the lingua franca of the world. In the linguistic enclaves that Indians live in, the promotion of bilingualism and multilingualism is certainly more difficult. It is easy enough for a child of the elite to acquire a smattering of Hindi, or Marathi or Kannada phrases. How much more enriching would it be for him to learn the language well enough to read widely in its literature? By the same token, children from subaltern families are constrained by money and class from acquiring more than a functional knowledge of English. Gandhi is not known to have been a model father, but by the accident of circumstance in at least this respect his children turned out to be more fortunate than other Indians. Their bilingualism came naturally, with the language of the home being supplemented by the language of the country they lived in. In contemporary India, on the other hand, a meaningful and enduring bilingualism remains out of reach of the vast majority of citizens.